Welcome back to another stock market portfolio update video. If you're completely new to my channel, hi, my name's Monty. I'm in my 20s and I currently have a 6-figure stock market investment portfolio. In these videos, I like to be as financially transparent as possible, so I log into all my accounts, which include Vanguard, InvestEngine and Trading212, and I show you exactly how much I've made or how much I've lost in that given week. Now, it's been an interesting week in the stock market to say the least. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, he's back at it again. He's made a few threats indicating that he's going to impose further tariffs onto China. And of course, the stock market has reacted to that. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how this news has affected my 6-figure stock market investment portfolio. As always, we're going to kick things off with Vanguard. After I've shown you how my Vanguard portfolio has performed, we're then going to log into InvestEngine. I'll show you how that account has performed. And then last but not least, we'll log into Trading212 and I'll show you how that account has performed also. So drop a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button just so that you don't miss out on a future portfolio update video. All right, so I've just logged into Vanguard. Today is the 20th of October, and I currently have a total portfolio value of £91,527.16. If we scroll down, you can see that I have contributed £67,669.44 of my own money. So this is basically the amount of deposits that I've put into Vanguard. And as a result of investing that money, I am now sitting at an investment return of £23,856.72. which now leaves me with a time-weighted rate of return of 53.57%. And then if I scroll down, you can see the graph that sits behind my data. So you can see over the months, over the years, I started this portfolio back in January 2023. So over the months, I've been consistently investing into the stock market, and you can see over time how my portfolio size has grown. You can see there's been periods where things have gone down ever so slightly, but overall, you can see the general trend is upwards. Now, in my last portfolio update video, I realized I didn't actually go through the holdings that sit behind all of this money. So this week, I'm going to show you the exact funds that I've been investing in for the past 2.5 years. Okay, so this is the holdings page of my Vanguard account, which shows the exact funds that I invest in under this account. And as you can see, I only hold 2 funds. So I like to keep my investing strategy as simple as possible, especially as I'm a long-term investor. I like to keep things as basic and as straight to the point as possible. So the first fund I hold is the US Equity Index Fund, and this is the accumulation version. So I have a current weighting allocation of 69.68%. I've deposited £46,181.21 into this fund, and as a result of investing that money into this fund, I've made a profit of £17,593.55. So that leaves me with a final total current value within the US Equity Index Fund of £63,774.76. And this current value is basically the total cost, so the amount of money I've put into the fund itself, plus the change, which is the amount that I've received as a return from investing into this fund. Fund number 2 is the FTSE Global All Cap Index Fund. As you can see, I have a current weighting allocation of 30.32%. I have deposited £22,341.73, and as a result of investing that money, I have gained £5,409.62, which leaves me with a current value again of £27,751.35. Okay, so what are these 2 funds and what do they track? First up, the US Equity Index Fund. So the clue is kind of in the name, but essentially this is an index that tracks the total US stock market. So it includes small companies, medium companies, and also large companies. I really like this fund because it gives you exposure to the total US stock market. So it's not like the S&P 500 where you only get allocation to 500 of the top performing companies in the US. With this fund, you also get exposure to medium and small cap size companies as well. So I really like this fund, and yeah, I prefer it over the S&P 500 just because it is slightly more diverse. Fund number 2, the FTSE Global All Cap. Now again, the clue is probably in the name, but this is an index that tracks the total global economy. So it includes companies that are based in Europe, based in UK, based in North America, based in emerging markets. It covers companies across the globe. Now, I really like this fund because it's extremely diversified. So from a risk management perspective, you're in good hands. you're not just relying on one continent or one specific country to do well. You're essentially betting on the whole world to do well. So yeah, that wraps up the holdings behind my Vanguard portfolio. Like I said, because I'm a long-term investor, I like to keep my strategy as simple as possible. And for me, 2 funds do the trick. Now, what I plan on doing is I'm gonna make a full in-depth video of both of these funds. But what I'll do is I'll make 2 separate videos covering these funds, and I'll go into great detail as to what these funds do, what they track, what the performance has been like, etc. So yeah, if you don't want to miss those videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So that wraps up the Vanguard update. Like I mentioned before, Vanguard is my biggest account, which is why I always like to start these portfolio update videos with my Vanguard account. But now let's head over to my second biggest account, which is my InvestEngine account. Okay, so I've just logged into InvestEngine, and as you can see, I currently have £10,924.46 sitting in my InvestEngine account. Now with InvestEngine, I only have a stocks and shares ISA. So with Vanguard, I have a stocks and shares ISA as well as a SIPP. However, with InvestEngine, I currently only hold a stocks and shares ISA. So that £10,924 that you can see on my screen, this is all purely in my stocks and shares ISA account. Now within InvestEngine, I'm currently sitting at a total positive return of £1,578.67. Now let's actually go ahead and take a look at the funds that sit behind this return. Okay, so the first fund in my InvestEngine stocks and shares ISA is FWRG, which is the Invesco FTSE All World. I currently have £5,832.13 sitting in this ETF, and this has provided me with a return of £816.44. Next up, we have VUAG, which is the Vanguard S&P 500. I currently have £3,548.21 sitting in this ETF. And this ETF has provided me with a return of £468.43. And lastly, we have XNAQ, which is the Nasdaq 100 ETF. I currently have £1,544.09 sitting in this ETF, and my return is £276.49. So all of the funds are in the green, which is really nice to see. Now, I consider this portfolio, this InvestEngine portfolio, to be a passive portfolio. And the reason I say that is because I don't actually actively contribute to this stocks and shares ISA account anymore. So if I scroll up and I turn on my buy and sell events, you can see all of those black dots are deposits that I've put into the account. And I actually haven't contributed to the account since November 2024, so it's almost been a year. And although I haven't specifically contributed to this portfolio within the year, you can see it's still making me money passively behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm pretty much near enough an all-time high in my InvestEngine stocks and shares ISA account. Last week was a bit of a bread week, so if I actually head over to the weekly tab, you can see in the past week, I was down by 0.29%. But yeah, nonetheless, things are going good in this account. And like I say, this is a completely passive account, so I'm not actively contributing to it. I'm just letting it work its magic behind the scenes. So that wraps up my InvestEngine portfolio update. Just to summarize, I have £10,924.46 sitting in my InvestEngine stocks and shares ISA. Now let's head over to Trading212 and let's take a look at how my Trading212 portfolio is performing. Okay, so just for context, with the Trading212 platform, I currently hold 2 types of accounts. So I hold a stocks and shares ISA as well as a general investment account. Now, because I'm no longer a UK tax-paying resident, unfortunately, I can't actively contribute to ISAs. Hence why I've decided to set up a general investment account with Trading212. So going forward from here, I'll be depositing money into my Trading212 general investment account because I can't actively contribute towards my Trading212 stocks and shares ISA anymore. Now, just because I'm no longer a UK tax-paying resident doesn't mean I have to liquidate my stocks and shares ISAs and take the money out. I can keep the money within my stocks and shares ISAs. I just can't actively contribute to those ISAs anymore. So my plan is to keep this money within my stocks and shares ISAs and just let it grow passively behind the scenes whilst actively contributing to my general investment account. So first of all, let's take a look at my stocks and shares ISA within Trading212 and let's see how that's performed. Okay, so within my Trading212 stocks and shares ISA, I have a current total value of £641.76. Now, the market is currently open right now, so this figure is going to be constantly changing whilst I'm recording this video. So that's just something to take in mind. Whilst you see me recording this video, these numbers are going to be constantly fluctuating. Okay, so now my total return is now sitting at £43.58. And that leaves me with a rate of return of 22.5%. Now let's take a look at my holdings and see exactly how the funds that I've invested in are performing. Okay, so first up, we have my pie called Monty's Pie. That's currently sitting at a value of £561.07. And this is currently up by 2.62%. Next up, we have my Open Door Technologies holding, and this is currently at a loss. So the value of this is £80.66. However, my return is down by 19.22%. This stock is quite volatile, if I'm being completely honest. Sometimes I see huge fluctuations in one trading day. However, my plan is to keep this here and just to monitor how it performs over the following month. Okay, so now let's take a look at my pie and let's see how my pie is performing. Okay, so welcome to my pie. This pie is a combination of 3 ETFs, and these same 3 ETFs are the ones that I invest in my InvestEngine account as well. What I'm gonna do actually is I'll leave a link in the description where you can copy this pie. So if you like the look of the funds and you want to replicate something similar, you can copy my pie and then you'll be investing in what I'm investing in. But yeah, anyway, all 3 of these ETFs are currently up and in the green. My best performing ETF right now in this particular pie is the X-Trackers Nasdaq 100. So that's up by 3.21%. VUAG, so my Vanguard S&P 500 is up by 2.04%. And then lastly, we have FWRG, which is the Invesco FTSE All World, and that's up by 2.8%. So that wraps up the stocks and shares ISA within my Trading212 account. Now let's take a look at how my general investment account has performed. Now this total return that you see on my screen, it's obviously an all-time total return. So it doesn't relate to what I'm currently invested in. I used to use this account a while ago, but then I decided to stop using it. Now I'm using it again. So yeah, just take that into consideration. That total return that you see right now, it doesn't relate to the current performance of my holdings. Okay, so scrolling down, you can see the investment holdings within this account. Now in my last portfolio update video, all of my holdings were in BMW. And as you can see, I've since got rid of BMW. And now I'm only holding funds within Monty's Pie. So yeah, I got rid of those BMW holdings, and I've also contributed a further £100 since my last portfolio update video. And all of that money is in my pie called Monty's Pie. Okay, so that wraps up the performance across all 3 of my investing accounts. Now let's add all of them up and let's see what my total portfolio balance is currently sitting at as of week 2 of October 2025. Okay, so first up, we have my Vanguard account, which is made up of my stocks and shares ISA and SIPP. And I had a balance of £91,527.16 in these 2 accounts. Next up, we have InvestEngine, and I currently only hold a stocks and shares ISA account with InvestEngine. And in this account, I have £10,924.46. And finally, we have my 2 Trading212 accounts, which make up my stocks and shares ISA and general investment accounts. And across these 2 accounts, I have £752.79. Adding all of these up give me a final total stock market portfolio balance of £103,204.41. So all in all, I think I'm down ever so slightly since the last portfolio update video that I put out here on YouTube. In my last video, I think I had around £104,000 invested. But again, that's the nature of the stock market. Things go up and things go down. But that wraps up this week's video, folks. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel just so that you don't miss out on a future portfolio update video. I'll catch you back again here next week.